People who play a healthy role in your life will respect your boundaries. If you are going to have a healthy relationship, you need to respect each other's boundaries. It needs to be mutual. Hi guys, welcome to my fourth information and advice video. Today I will be talking about boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries in one's life is absolutely crucial to living a happy, healthy, and fulfilling lifestyle. In fact, I would put it as high up in importance as having a healthy diet or a healthy sleep schedule. A while back, I went to my counselor and was informed that I was carrying some misconceptions about boundaries. My counselor actually gave me this handout, which I will be showing you, and it had a list of 8 myths about boundaries that are very common for people to carry with them, to either be told or simply have internalized. Here is a copy of the handout, and oh my goodness guys, I tried so hard to figure out what book this is a photocopy from because I want to give due credit to the author. I don't find this specific list of 8 boundaries in many places, and I think they are really, really good to talk about. I even went to my counselor, my current counselor, and asked if she could identify where this handout came from, and she looked through some books she had, and we just weren't 100% sure. So if I do figure it out, I will post that below this video to give due credit to the amazing author or authoress. Before I get into the actual myths about boundaries, I think it would be very beneficial to actually define what boundaries are. So according to this handout, a personal boundary is a personal property line. It says what I will and will not do and what I am responsible for. Boundaries can also fall into the 4 categories of physical boundaries, mental boundaries, emotional boundaries, and spiritual boundaries. And I'm not going to say that these do not overlap. So let's get into the myths. Myth number 1. If I set boundaries, I am being selfish. Heck no, if you set boundaries, you are not being selfish. You are actually taking responsibility for yourself. You are taking responsibility to set limits for yourself and for others in order to take care of your own well-being. Myth number 2. If I set boundaries, I will hurt others. I'm not going to say that no one will ever feel hurt by the boundaries you set, but you do have a right to your boundaries. You have the right to tell people this is not okay, to even shut people out if they are very toxic to your well-being. It can be hard to do this, and the intention in setting a boundary should never be to hurt another person or to get back at them. If another person is hurt because you are literally taking care of yourself, you are not at fault. I'm not saying that you can just go against another person's human rights, like say, well, I don't want to do this and I know you'll die because of it, but I just really don't want to do it. I mean, there are places where a boundary or a supposed boundary is not healthy, but what I'm talking about is like healthy boundaries. Number 3, if I begin setting boundaries, I will be hurt by others. I'm guessing that the main scenario that people have in mind here is that they tell someone this is not okay with me, and the person says, oh, well, I can't handle that, and they leave them. I'm guessing most people are thinking of situations like that. However, I would like to point out, in a situation like that, that is not a healthy relationship to begin with. If a person cannot respect your boundaries, they probably shouldn't be in your life. People who play a healthy role in your life will respect your boundaries. Myth number 4, boundaries show that I am angry and mean. No, boundaries show that you have values and self-respect. Like I said, the goal of a boundary should never be to hurt another person. In fact, you are in a better place to look out for another person and to be kind to other people when you are taking care of yourself. Myth number 5, when others set boundaries, it hurts me. All right, at this point, I would like to talk about the fact that there are 2 different kinds of people with issues with boundaries. There are people who are just afraid to set boundaries, and then there are the people that will not respect boundaries. Maybe someone's boundaries will leave you feeling a little hurt, but if you have a right to your boundaries, so do they. If you expect another person to respect your boundaries, you must respect their boundaries. And so maybe there will be a little pain, but oh my goodness, if you are going to have a healthy relationship, you need to respect each other's boundaries. It needs to be mutual. Myth number 6, boundaries are permanent. Believe it or not, this is not always the case. Sometimes you just need to set a boundary for a certain period of time in order to get to a healthy place. A few examples I can think of are maybe you just broke up with someone and you may just need to kind of take a break. They may want to be friends, to hang out regularly, and for your mental, emotional, just all of those health needs, you may need to say, I need some distance for a time. And then maybe in the future, when you are in a healthier place, you can hang out again. Maybe not, but maybe. It really depends on the relationship, the scenario, all the things that are going down, and the people involved. Number 7, boundaries are a sign of insensitivity and/or rebellion. This assumption is very similar to the idea that boundaries are selfish. Like I said, boundaries should not be set to hurt another person. In fact, when you are setting a boundary, you can and probably should take into account the costs and the benefits to really see if it is an appropriate boundary to set. That said, boundaries can be appropriate even if the other person is not happy with the boundary or does not fare particularly well. And I would even go so far as to say sometimes those are the scenarios when boundaries are needed most because there is a lack of respect for that boundary. Myth number 8, boundaries cause feelings of guilt. If you have a healthy understanding of boundaries and a healthy self-respect, setting boundaries will not cause feelings of guilt. If you are feeling guilt for having set a boundary, or as you are considering boundaries, that is probably a sign that there is a deeper issue or a deeper wound. The good thing is that if you come to this realization, you can start to try to figure out what that issue and wound is. It's very likely has to do with feelings of self-worth and self-respect and just all of that. And you can even get help in that area. You can find self-help books. You can talk to a friend, a counselor. There's a lot of things you can do to address that deeper issue. So actually, if you notice this is a problem, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, oh, well, now there's something else I need to address. So I can reach a place where when I do set those boundaries, I don't feel guilt. If you are curious, I will elaborate on what some healthy boundaries are in the information section below this video. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you so that you can start to set more healthy boundaries in your life. See you in my next video. Bye.